think we're good. See? Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. Perfect. Hello, everyone. Last minute live stream, and main reason is that I want to keep doing this once a month, and this month has been very crazy, so I haven't had a lot of time to do what I wanted to do. But I just wanted to do a short live stream today. I'm actually traveling today, and there is a giveaway, by the way, happening right now for European countries. So if you're in Europe, make sure to kind of like keep that up. So June 20, the Dumbphone live stream. June 2020. I don't expect a lot of you to be here. It's really early in the morning, but I kind of had to get it done to just get some news out there, but also for other reasons, kind of like keeping the streak going. And I did want to share a few things, a few devices that are interesting in the digital minimalism space, not necessarily only in the not only in like the regular kind of like dumb phone space. Right now it's a little slow, but I did have a few conversations here and there that I think are going to be excellent and they're going to be helpful overall. So yeah, so I'm kind of excited to share some of those news. We're going to start with, let me make sure that I have my timestamps ready. So we're going to start with Sidephone. So at 2 minutes. So I met with the founder of Sidephone, one of the founders, with Chris. And this project is alive and well, is going pretty decently. So let's go to the website, sidephone.com. And as you know, they have certain prototypes, about like what the device is going to be. I got to see and feel some of the device, at least the prototypes, the early prototypes. And I think I'm excited about the listening portion. I think Chris is doing a great job listening to the feedback that people are giving. And I'm really excited about that. I think that's something that's important, especially in this space. So I'm kind of happy to see that, happy to see some of these developments. The magnet mix of clips is still a little bit of a concern for me, and that is just because it brings a point of failure, but also, it's more complex. But I met with them. We had a really good chat, and they're looking into getting a lot of the basic applications that people want and need onto the phone, and going forward, making sure that it is something that, it's beneficial to the community. So far, I like their project, and I got to see a lot of the promise, and they are also working with, hopefully very soon, with some bigger partners. So there may be a wider release than usual, and I'm really happy to see that. So the project is still alive, is going forward, is, happening, and you can join the discussion at Reddit, on the Reddit, on the Sidephone for the Reddit. So that's something that's pretty big. Besides that, there are not a lot of new phones coming out, but there are some Kickstarters that will be interesting to check out. One is this Ikko card phone device. So it's called Mind One, Ikko Mind One. And let's see. So let's look into it. It's a little bit of a card sized. It's definitely not it's a smartphone, but I'm kind of excited to see how it works. Here's the Kickstarter for it. This device, I have reviewed one of them. We are at 4 minutes and a half, so let's change the timestamps. So this device, I have a different. This is a legit company because they ship products. I guess we can call it that much. The Ikko Mind One, though, is a card-sized device. It's not a full-fledged bigger smartphone. And essentially, the idea is, hey, you're going to be able to do some of these things. And it has that card size idea of like, okay, you have some of your needs and then you can install extra applications. It's Android based, and it's a different form factor. I think that's kind of like one of the main things. And as you see, like, you can install most of the applications. Apparently, it's going to start at $299, and then it has going to have an optional keyboard available, and it's going to ship later this year in October 2025. So it's very interesting. I'm kind of excited to see how it all works. And I'm happy to see that they have some integration, some helpful things, but at the same time, it's kind of like very early right now to predict where this project is going to go. But it's something that's, I'm like, hey, different form factor, something different, right? Like something that is not the big smartphone. It's going to probably help for digital minimalism most of the time, right? So like, that's just going to be a helpful thing. So I just came across this yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, we should talk about this, because this company has shipped something in the past similar, I would say. So the Ikko Audio is the one that I have. Is kind of like a device, not that one, this one. So the Active Buds. So the Active Buds essentially they have like a tiny screen, and you're able to interact with it. You're able to have some apps. It was made more for like kind of like music perspective, not necessarily for the purpose of like having a phone with you. But it seems that they have caught on that some people may want a larger screen but still keep that different form factor, something that's still useful but not doom scrolling. So that is something to keep in mind. I found it to be very, very good. There is a giveaway that's happening right now. Here, let me go to my profile. Here it is. So European giveaway. Let me copy this link. I'm going to put it on the chat. So if you're in Europe and you are interested in a giveaway for devices, this closes tomorrow. Tomorrow? Yes. So tomorrow I am due to arrive over there in Europe, and I will be shipping one of these devices to lucky winners. So if you want to enter, make sure to do so. Let me get to the link here and mute tab so that I don't double hear myself. So if you're interested, there it is. I'm also going to put it in the description. Giveaway link. And probably it'll be helpful to put also the Kickstarter for the Ikko, like, links for today kind of a thing. Let's see. Ikko. So you guys can check that out. Sidephone. Pretty much everybody knows about them already. I've been talking about it for a few months now. So those are kind of like the main things that have been happening in the space. Nothing crazy, nothing super amazing. There is another device that's also coming out. I want to talk specifically about that one. We are at 8 minutes. And I'm going a little faster today than usual because I have limited time. I'm actually preparing for a trip later today around 6 p.m. So, it's 9 a.m. right now. So the Keyphone beta, QWERTY device, is actually going to come live. This is more of yes, definitely still based on Android, but it's more of a restricted device. So let's go to Keyphone. So keyphone.tech, that's the thing here. And I believe they're already taking pre-orders. So the thing here, the innovation to a degree, is that you can change, or that you can have a different format. So you have a QWERTY keyboard, you have a Talk and Text T9 format. You can have all screen, and kind of like look into how it is. And these applications are more on the basic side. So they are not smart applications. There's not going to be a lot of extra apps. It's going to be more like calendar. Here's the messaging. Here's some pictures that you can see how it looks. Call log, reminders, that kind of stuff. So it's not going to be super amazing, like, oh, you can do whatever you want. It's going to be more restricted. But the innovation here, or the, kind of like returning to the past, portion is that they're doing a QWERTY keyboard, right? And yeah, I mean, antidote to tech overdose, like they're calling it that. But as we know, these devices are as helpful as you want them to be, and if it fits with your lifestyle and you want a QWERTY keyboard, you're going to have an option nowadays. So that is good news that, there's more competition coming into the area, into the Dumbphone space, into the more intentional device space. And I'm kind of excited about that possibility, right? So here are some of the things that you can see. I'm sorry. And again, it's just going to be very basic, nothing super amazing. And I do like that they are, kind of like looking into like, hey, we're in the alpha access, phase 2, launch crowdfunding, beta access, and this is kind of like their first productions, about 100 days, first productions that they're looking into. You can lock your spot, and you can get the cheapest price. And as you see right there is more of a chunkier device, just because, of course, it does have a lot of components, and it does have the QWERTY keyboard. So it's going to be, kind of interesting to see how this develops and how it works. So, I'm really excited to take a look into it and see what their capabilities are going to be. It's going to be for GLTE, pretty much global. It's kind of like optimized for global. And that is some of the stuff that's happening, right? So there you go. So Keyphone is a new competitor, a new kind of like device coming in. That's more news, things that are kind of coming down the pipeline. There is a few more things that I wanted to mention. I do have a few reviews. I'm seeing them right here, and giveaways coming here for the United States. And one of them is kind of like, I'm kind of getting the sense that a lot of companies, I came across this one the other day called Pause OS. So the idea is like distraction-free technology. You're going to be able to get some of this stuff. This is a little bit overpriced in my personal opinion, because yeah, it's just a little much. It's just like $700 for a Pixel 8, which I believe was the price at the time. But the distraction-free OS is already pre-installed. But the reason why I think it's a little bit too much is because Sleke has been kind of like that same thing, but for cheaper, right? So like you can get a Sleke phone, which is a Pixel 7, for like $400 instead of like a Pixel 8 for $700. And it's kind of like the similar OS with, some of those similar apps. I like, and still no side loading, reliable hardware. What I like about the guys at Sleke is that they have consistently updated a lot of things. And I've been really excited to see their progress, honestly. They now are shipping a new store with the, what's it called? The Aurora store. So there's the Aurora store now available on the Sleke device. I guess I'm doing Sleke updates right now at 13 minutes. So let me put it on the timestamp. So yeah, so I've been talking with them about some of their future release stuff and some of the features that are coming down the pipeline. And what I like about it's like they're listening to the feedback, right? So they're like, they switch their platform from what was Graphene OS, I believe it was too restricted, and now they have gone to something like mid-level, which is Calyx OS. And not only that, but now they have integrated the Aurora store, which allows you to do a few extra things with the devices and get Micro G, which is a very useful utility. It's an easier integration for those of you who still need a few apps, but again, you don't want you don't want a full app store. You want an app store that is more curated, right? So they're using the Aurora store. They also have, some bugs here, of course, and they're like, hey, what's in progress? What's happening? And I really like that. Hey, they're looking for the feature roadmap. They're looking for the things that they want to do. And they embedded Futo tools lately, which is one of my favorite keyboards for anything smart because it's all offline. And yeah, it's just really, really exciting. So if you want to go check out how, you know, it all works and what they're working on and what they're kind of like looking into for their future, you can also look at that, you know, feature roadmap on their website. So Sleke.io. So let me put that also in the Sleke. So you can check it out. And that, you know, that's just kind of like something that's helpful overall. Okay. There are some updates coming to regular devices. Some devices that are coming up, of course, like, you know, like the Livestream 3. There's an update coming this week that will finally allow you to use earbuds. So like Bluetooth earbuds, and get those Bluetooth earbuds, the pause and play functioning, and also like the volume. So everything, all the features that your earbuds will have, now the Livestream 3 will have the ability to get some of that. Let me get some Livestream updates out of the way. Yeah, so let's see, 1606. Man, this is like the sometimes I spend 3, 4, 5, sometimes 10 minutes in one category. And like right now, we're just flying through everything because I have a limited amount of time. So yes, so as I said, the Livestream is getting an update this week. It's going to be pretty big. Here it is, you know, like the kind of like Livestream 3. And so essentially, one thing that I had shown before is the TC platform. You ask a question and then it gives you, hey, what it is. Here I was you know, kind of like looking into how it all works for the paneer that I was ordering. You can get the weather. So that's the platform that's coming. But they're doing a lot of the improvements to the podcast area. So they're doing like a lot of podcasts, and they're like looking into releasing more functionality for the earbuds. So that is going to be coming very soon. And I'm kind of excited to see some of that. But there is something more important, which is like their timeline, right? So now they have a better timeline to share. So let's go to their blog chronologically. Oh, it was a here. It was a newsletter, so it wasn't on their website. Let's see. I did not pin it. That's okay. All right, let's see. And you can always find the latest information on the Livestream subreddit. So, you know, just kind of keeping it. Let's put it by new. That way I can find it. This was an update that was shared about a month ago, I think. So in May. Let's go. Keep going. And I remember putting it myself. So I should have, well, I post a lot, so that would have taken a little bit of time too. Let me see if I can find it in my other here. Updated production pipeline. Did I put it here? Here it is. There it is. Boom, found it. So they have the June production update, which says like, hey, a lot of the people waiting for their devices. So far I have seen a lot of the orders on like the 2600, here. And then like June updates. So by June, by the end now, right, it should be in the 33. I think probably it will be. Like, I mean, you know, I know that a lot of people that post. So if you go to the Livestream subreddit, and you kind of like go into like, hey, when am I gonna get it? When I got it, you know, kind of like the timeline. You will see many different replies, but the newer ones, you know, kind of like, see, I've seen these up to the 24. I've seen like some 27 orders in the area of like other kind of like confirmation areas, you know, so it's kind of like looking into they're continuing to fulfill. 20 days ago, this guy got, or girl, I don't know, got the 32s. So they're already getting address confirmations and probably sending them in the mail. So that's encouraging that they're getting to their timeline. And hopefully by August, they will have all of the remaining pre-orders kind of like looking to kind of like, you know, put some of that stuff in there. Let's see. There was another update, I think. As the Porter pre-order information. Let's see. Patience. We can wait to share it. Please read. Adding accessories, address verification. Oh, see. So it's like if you may have received an address verification, and if you haven't done it, then they will not ship your orders. So make sure to check your spam, check your email, check everything, and just kind of get like, hey, you know, confirm your address and make sure that you have this kind of going on into your order system, right? So that's just something that's very, very important. Let me see. Oh, okay. I see some questions. Okay. Hey man, any good for modern releases for some classic feature phones that are rugged and affordable? Let's see. Hey man, any good recommendations for modern releases resembling classic feature phones that are rugged and affordable? To be honest, no. Right now, unfortunately, we just don't have that available, except if you go to like AGM, which, I mean, I don't necessarily think that you will be like, oh yeah, that's like super cool. AGM Mobile. So if you go to AGM, they have some rugged and affordable, but are they like classic? I don't know about that, right? So it's like, you know, we can debate here, but this one probably will be something along those lines, the AGM M9. I have a review of it, I believe, already, and I do have the AGM M10 in review, and I will be looking into that. But this is probably your closest, you know, like functional device that you probably could get on that. So it's very basic though. So just FYI, super basic, but it's, you know, rugged. It has very good battery life, very simple to use, easy. They have two versions, one for the US, one for the rest of the world. And I think it's a good phone, you know, for if you just want something very basic and rugged and simple. Yes, go for it. So that probably will be my top recommendation. Besides that, I don't really think of any other recommendations for rugged, simple, kind of like the problem is resembling something cool from back in the day. That's just probably not going to happen. So yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So more light phone updates. So they are going to be coming up with also a few extra improvements on the side of there's like some issues with the notes for some people when you put a lot of text. There is a kind of like, let's see, you cannot scroll. So if you put a lot of text in this way, at some point in time, see, my original note kind of got crumbled. So, you know, like you can continue and like making spaces, but at some point in time, you cannot scroll it. So let me put a little bit more, save. So there it is. So it gets cut off. You see that? So it gets cut off right there. And then you will have to edit it. So essentially, they're going to fix some of that. They're going to make some refinements and improvements. And again, the phone is just continues to get better over time, like we saw with the Light Phone 2. You know, it just got better and better over time. And it was just kind of like, hey, this device is a long-term investment, something that you want to do for the long term. One more critical update, actually. Yes, this is very important. We are at 24 minutes, so let's go to the 24 minutes. And I'll put a link in the description as well if you want to buy a light phone and you want to support the channel. Links there help the channel. This is Punkt MP02. So I had gotten a report that the Punkt MP02 was not working the best in Canada and in some countries also, that kind of like are shutting down 3G. So it was having some compatibility issues. Well, finally, Punkt listen. One of those things I'm like, finally, okay, you're getting back into listening to the customers and getting some stuff done. But they released some software very recently that has allowed for kind of like the software update to improve the LTE VoLTE kind of like network system. So this was released 12 days ago or so, and now you can have this update says particularly important to specific users who rely on Sunrise. This is probably a carrier out there in Switzerland. But this is also having an effect on Canadian carriers and a few other areas where kind of 3G and 2G was getting decommissioned and people couldn't call. So now they have better handling of the VoLTE compatibility, and they still have a few issues, right? So the voicemail, alarms, calling, APN, and contacts are still non-functional. But hopefully this is the beginning of a better listening, or hey, we're going to update this a little bit more, because the last update before this for the operating system was in 2023. So that's a 2-year gap. Now, I will give them credit that the device was released a long time ago, like the Livestream 2 was released, 2019, 2018, something like that. 7 years later, they're still giving support to the device, which in my book is always welcome to have a company say like, hey, you bought this long time ago. I guess their new devices for the Punkt MP02 were released somewhere around 2021, but that's still a 4-year kind of like, hey, we have done updates here and there. There's also an update on Pigeon. This was released the 10th of this month, and essentially version number has been upgraded to the new signal, and now you can verify the backup phrase, no visual feedback and backup menu, kind of like they have allowed for that. There's still a lot of known issues, as you see right here. But again, I think it's good that they're putting some power into updating these devices, even though they are older. I mean, they are older devices, and most time companies don't have a massive incentive to do that. So I think it's a good thing, a welcome thing to see companies being behind their devices. Companies that are behind their devices, to keep going with that theme, the Sunbeam F1 family of devices, which are, again, one of my favorite Sunbeam F1 updates. So Sunbeam F1 family of devices, one of my favorite family of devices, they are getting a little bit more traction into some of these things. So let's go to articles, support updates. Yeah, so there was an update, now in June 2025. They added a power off reboot menu. They turned off the screen lock. And this was the very big change that I'm very, very happy to see on Sunbeam F1 devices. Sunbeam F1 devices are one of my honestly favorite devices that they there are in the Dumbphone space, because this is a company that's very responsive. They're behind their devices. They're not necessarily cheap, but it's kind of like a long-term investment. But they added contacts and calendar sync for Google, Yahoo, and AOL on select models. So due to their different models, so let me show you that. They have a lot of models, as you may know, but the F1 Pro has kind of like, some of them have access to sync and others don't, because not all of them have calendar, for example, right? So I'll give you where's calendar? Is there a calendar thing here? No. So let's go to their chart. Let's see if we can find their chart. So there you go. Okay, here. No. FAQs, maybe? No, not that one. I want to find their, yes, right here. Perfect. So this is like their big chart. And essentially all of the devices, as far as I understand, that have the calendar integration, and kind of like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, hotspot, like more of the smart features, will be able to get this contact sync integration. And more of the very, very basic devices like the Willow, right, which only has the Willow has like talk. That's it. And the Cedar has talk and Bluetooth, essentially. So more of these basic devices from, like, I think Birch all the way to Willow, these devices do not have that capability because they do not come with the components necessary to do that. So there's no picture messaging, right? So there is no way to transfer some of that data. The calendar sync is kind of broken by default because you do not want those features, right? You only want something that's talk. I think it's fine for some people to only have that functionality of like, hey, I'm just going to have talk. But now having that ability to do sync is very big, in my opinion. It's getting ahead of some of the other devices like the Lightphone. Well, Lightphone has sync for both too. No, but it's definitely getting ahead from like some KaiOS devices. It's getting ahead from other devices that are kind of like, yeah, we are smart, but not too smart, But yeah, I'm really excited about this update that was released. So the sync for calendar for Google, Yahoo, and AOL, I mean, that is very, very, very good. And I was going to do a video on the matter because I think it's quite large and quite important. But honestly, guys, like this month has been crazy. Like I had to travel out of the country because I was, my family matters. I had to go to a funeral. And then like I had to come back and then like, get kind of caught up with work. And I haven't really had time to do a lot of the updates and things that I wanted to do. Then I was preparing for my trip, which I'm leaving in a few hours. And then I'm doing the giveaway. So there's a lot of things. But there will be a few videos coming soon on kind of like updates, new devices that we have seen. One of them is actually highly anticipated. And many of you wanted me to check it out, which is the Big Me High Break, which I did. And it's a great device for some of you who want some extra functions here and there and a great e-ink experience. But Sunbeam F1 continues to update, and now with the calendar sync, I 100% believe it's even, kind of like going even further into it. I believe the Horizon series still does not have this, but they're going to try to merge as much as possible. Their latest update was March 2025. But this update on the sync is very powerful for the Pro series of devices, and I'm just really happy to see that they are going and they're continuing to create value for their customers. So I will put a link in the chat and also in the description. So for both Lightphone and Sunbeam. So if you guys want to use the links and you want to, if you were thinking already of kind of buying the device, you want to support the channel, you are more than welcome to do that. So Lightphone and then Sunbeam. And the Sunbeam now with sync, it's getting closer to parity for me to be my probably top recommendation, due to price mainly. It's like Lightphone is really high in the 600s, right? Or you can get a Lightphone 2 for 300. But the Sunbeam F1 having ways, having, a lot of like these very helpful and useful features, especially sync, is one of those big ones that is kind of like syncing back and forth. It's very, very good for a lot of people. They get a lot of contacts, or maybe you are in a certain industry and you want to make sure that they cross sync, or like your contacts cross sync with other devices. Then you kind of want to have that discretion and ability for your kind of like, how you do some of these things, right? So like I'm really excited to see that. And this got messed up. Yeah. So now let's go back here to the dumb phones. I do wanted to highlight two very useful posts that I saw the other day, and we'll get to that in just a second. But yeah, highly recommend you look into Sunbeam. Highly recommend you look into a light phone, top devices, and there are more devices coming out. Hopefully now towards the latter half of the year, so September and further, I can definitely see a few extra devices here and there. Two posts that I found insightful, and these are kind of like posts that are, this is just the community being very helpful, being very nice. People, taking time to write guides. So this one is, does this Dumbphone work with this carrier? Or, whatever it is that you want it to work. So a lot of people have this question, and I thought that this post was very, very helpful because it allows you to send somebody like, okay, how do I know if this works? How do I know, what's best for me, essentially? So two posts I found helpful. So if somebody's thinking about it, right, thinking about transitioning to a simpler device, that kind of stuff. Okay, perfect. So there it is. So he says like, okay, hey, if you research at least 1 minute into the Dumbphone, you have seen many questions. It clogs up the comments on videos and posts. Here is an answer. So you can use Cell Mapper, which I have said in the past. You kind of like need to know how to use that. But essentially, you go around and you look into the area that you're in. Kind of like, hey, like let's say we're here in Utah, and you want to look into a specific provider like T-Mobile. Let's see. United States, T-Mobile USA. Okay, that's their coverage, and these are the bands, right? So that's the first step. Then he goes into like, okay, here are the basics. 2G, this is what it means. It's for basic phone calls. 3G adds enough speed for image sharing. 4G, flagship network, you need it to browse the internet. Also RCS, VoLTE, etc., etc. Open Cell Mapper, configure your map for this. So, for example, tell us in Vancouver. Open the map, click the menu button in the top left, click provider, select the country and provider of your choice. During step 4, switch between 2G, 3G, and 4G to be able to complete your spec sheet. So in this case, you have the spec sheet of the device. In this case, it's like, okay, it has 900, 1800, 1900, and it has 4G LTE 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. Perfect. Well, in that case, you are going to look into a device. Okay, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. Perfect. There is a tower around my area that uses 2 right here. Boom, this tower is live. It works. And if, I live around this area, then this device should work in my area. So I thought that this was a very, very helpful post, and I highly recommend that you send anybody that has this question to this post. Does this Dumbphone work with this carrier? And thank you for downgrading GP user. Thank you for always providing this great guide, this good value. It's like, and I'm really happy. The second post is also pinned in the community highlights of the Dumbphone sub page. And in this case, it is the, give me 1 second. This got messed up. There you go. So advantages and disadvantages chart of each type of Dumbphones. This was created by a user that has since deleted their Reddit, but that's okay. We still get to keep the very, very beautiful content. So this is kind of like, okay, which Dumbphone should I get, right? So there are different Dumbphones that, people call them Dumbphones. Which one is the one that I need for my needs? And I also found this very, very insightful and very helpful. So I really appreciate, again, when people create really quality posts. So this one is like, okay, new feature phones. They're basic, simple, cheap to buy, total detox. They won't have some of their smart essentials you may rely on, taxi, banking, etc. Often have mediocre cameras. New smartphones with keypads, right? So that's what they are. The Cat S22, Xiaomi F21, still has access to important apps you may rely on. Good halfway solution for dumbing down because of the small screen. Still has apps and everything. That's a, kind of like, it depends on your habits. Not as good battery life as a feature phone. Old smartphones, you might already have one still and it's familiar, likely has a better camera than the new feature phones, but they may not have the best battery life, or the OS is very slow and clunky, or maybe not supported. And then the old feature phones, you might already have one, may look cooler, they're total detox as well, but they may need a proprietary charger. Retro is not everyone's taste and won't work where 2G is terminated. And he also put right there like Australia, Vietnam, Switzerland, most of the US, etc., etc. So I thought this chart was also very helpful, very nice that he compiled some of this information just for people to kind of have an idea of like, okay, what should I get? What is something that, I need to kind of like think about? So, what is a good compromise? There's a lot of other things. Okay. Mudita updates, since I just saw that. Let's go to the forum.mudita.com. This is the best place to get your Mudita updates. We're at 41. My gosh, this is so fast. I feel so rushed and I don't like it. But that's life when you have very little time and you wanted to get Mudita Kompakt updates. So I will be hosting a giveaway when I get back for the Mudita Kompakt. I actually have an extra unit, so I'll be doing that giveaway sometime for North America. So this is the North American version. I will host a giveaway for that sometime in the future. But Mudita has been busy. We wanted to actually do a kind of like live stream. And Mudita has been very busy because they have a lot of users now, and then people are asking a lot of questions on how to do things. And if you want an answer to your question officially from the Mudita company, I highly recommend that you check it out and go to the forum. That's the best place to, kind of like look into this and get some of that information going on. There have been some bugs, and like this one apparently, oh, this is interesting. Oh, look at that. Huh. There was a Mudita that was shipped with like vanilla Android. That is vanilla Android. That's very interesting. Cool. That's very interesting. And yeah, so go get your updates from them. They continue to upgrade their devices. They're continuing to do a lot of their promotion and kind of like shipping and some of that other stuff on their devices. So you can check out their website. You can use the code Briones15 if you want to get a 15% discount. I think it is on the what's it called, on the device. So I'll put that link also in the description if you want to get that get that going on. But it has a 14-day money-back guarantee, and they have continued to update the device. I think they're up to version 1.1.1 right now, and most things work pretty decently, and most people have found kind of like a middle ground, installing applications here, getting them there, that kind of stuff. I do have a few meetups coming up, and you may see some of that content coming up. We'll see. That there has been some new information that we need to return earlier for my trip, but I am planning as of now to meet up with Laura Malvoyant, which she has a channel, and we'll probably do some content together, just meet up and kind of like chat about dumbphones and that kind of stuff. But yeah, so the Mudita Kompakt is shipping. They're getting updates. They're getting their stuff together, and they are continuing to listen to the feedback. I mean, as you see right here, there's a lot of reports, bugs, things like that. And here is kind of like some user experience, seeing how this can be better. And you get some official responses like, okay, what's going to happen? So this is a review from a software developer. And as you see, like, hey, there is like the community manager, Ursula, you always do a great job. Keep the good work. And they, have like just back and forth between different people. They're like kind of working on, hey, what's the best thing, how to use it, how to do better, et cetera, right? So like, I mean, and some people have mods and, there's a full community of like what's going on with the Mudita community right there. So go check out those updates from them. And yeah, I'm really excited for them to continue to make sure that their device is good. Okay, we do have one more question. Thank you for the questions. I know it's a few fewer of you today than usual, and then we get less questions, but that's okay. It says the Doro Leva X10. I don't even know. Never seen that device, but maybe somebody mentioned it. Doro Leva X10. Is this a smartphone? Most likely. Or what is it? 149. Okay, well, seems interesting. Doro makes... Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, this is very basic. And I think it's very short-term memory problems, right? So it's like, hey, you can call these people. That's very customized. If you don't need those features, I think Doro has better devices in the feature phone category. I highly recommend you look into the TT phone. I think those are better. They have rebranded. Oh, the Levas are their new devices. Okay, cool. I probably will get one while I'm over there so that I can bring it back and test over here. But here's the Leva L30, which is newer, and it seems probably Android based, and you're probably going to be able to kind of like look into it. Very nice, very stylish. It looks nice, and it looks pretty decent in my opinion. This screen looks really nice. I actually like that. Product specification. Let's see. RAM. Oh no. This is not Android. It's probably RTOS. So it's there it is. RTOS, Mocor RTOS. It's something super basic. Yeah. So if you're looking for something very basic, you don't have to go this way. The same operating system that the Doro is using is the same operating system that Nokia is using. So HMD, sorry, not Nokia, HMD devices. So these feature phones, you can just get a Nokia 225. And if you are outside of the United States, let's just put that. Let's just go to the UK since United Kingdom. There it is. And you can get the Nokia 105 4G edition. You can get the HMD Barca 3210 if you like Barcelona. The 2660, again, very easy to use device. This is a revamped design. No? That's new. Maybe they went with the glossy stuff from the... this is a little new because with the Barbie phone glossy stuff. I like it. But yeah, you can get some of these devices probably will be cheaper, and they have the same operating system as the Doro. So I highly recommend you just get like a 105 or a 3210, something like along these lines. It will be way cheaper, and it will be the same experience as the Doro. So yeah. And you say, I like that the Doro dock can charge the phone. Yeah, I mean, that's nice. If you think that's worth it, if you think that the dock is fine, go for it. There is also the TT phone. Let me show you that on Amazon. TT phone 970. It's not going to show up. They also have a dock, and it's a little cheaper at $168, just like 120 euros or pounds, something like that. But they have a dock charger as well, so you can look into this. And this one's smarter. This one's definitely smarter than the Doro because you can install certain applications on this one. Not all applications, but like certain applications, right? So if you want to do that, you at least have that ability to do so instead of just being like, no, there is nothing, kind of. And they have return resell deals. Oh, look at that. Return resell TT Phone Titan TT950, which used to be their previous version, $56 or 56 euros. Return resell for the TT Phone 970, 112. Like, I mean, hey, you can go get I highly recommend you go for the 950 or the 970. Those are going to definitely be better, for what you're looking for. And this one seems to be KaiOS, the TT240. Yeah, so but if you're looking for a dock or you're looking for something specific, then like just look into that. But TT Phone is another brand that you probably will consider with the Doros. They're kind of like in the same area. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. That's all I have, for great vast majority. I did want to recommend again this book that I read and I interviewed. So if you go to Substack, so Jose Briones, Substack.com, or you search Moving Offline Newsletter, which is my newsletter, I did this interview with Richard Simon. And I am going to link that newsletter into the description as well. Newsletter. So if you haven't check it out, my newsletter comes out, probably like every 2 weeks or so. And I do have a podcast here and there. But I reviewed his book called Unplug, How to Break Up, or I read it, and I highly recommend you take a look into this book. It's called Unplug, How to Break Up with Your Phone and Reclaim Your Life. Very, very nice book, very easy to read. And people are saying like, hey, this is a great book. A lot of good reviews out there so far. There was actually a review on the Wall Street Journal that also said, hey, this is really nice, So like, here is the Unplugged review, living phone free. Of course, there's a paywall for now, but you can find other ways like archive.org to look into the device. I'm sorry, the reading. But the book is fantastic. It's a fantastic book. He interviewed a lot of people. He showcases a lot of methods that people can do, and he has essentially what he calls the 4 breakup styles. So, hey, how do you want to break up with your phone? So how do you want to reclaim your life? It's something that you want to do, that you have to put forward, that you have to think. So highly recommend this. And of course, highly recommend that you subscribe to my newsletter to get the latest information. I do a lot of reflections and just some tips that can help you. How to build better habits, courage to be yourself. This is something that I talked about, like, hey, you have to be okay. And yeah, I do a lot of like these posts and audio content that may be able to supplement some of the stuff like the videos that I produce and that kind of stuff. So if you want to check it out, you're more than welcome to do so there. That's all I have. I have 8 minutes to do some questions. So if you guys have questions right now, this is the time. And highly recommend that you check out some of the timestamps, right? So like, I think one of the biggest things today that I learned was that Ikko device. I think it's super cool that we have that device available. It's different, it's like definitely different. So I think around 50 is newsletter and conclusion. Newsletter, questions, and conclusion. I will be doing more of a regular, longer live stream coming up the next year. That's next year, July, next month. It will also be late into the month due to travels, and then now we have to go to another funeral family. Unfortunately, my wife's grandpa passed away, and now we have more of that kind of in our timeline. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful. I hope I was able to answer some questions. And yeah, I'll stay around for like 2 more minutes if nobody else has big questions. I have a small hands, need 5-inch screen max. Get a Jelly Star would be a great contender for that. So highly recommend you take a look into it. But yeah, thanks for being here, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. And for those of you that didn't make it in time because it was too early, I'm sorry, but there are timestamps that you can take a look into, and links that are also provided so that you can get some extra information out there. But yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate your Appreciate your viewership and your support to the channel and everything that you guys always do. And we'll see you next time.